Ladies and gents, welcome back. Tamara Lich had her day in court. No, not her day in court for the crimes she's accused of. No, another bail hearing where the prosecution was trying to put her back in jail for alleging that she broke the terms of her bail for the crime of accepting an award from the JCCF, the Justice for Constitutional Freedoms. They wanted to give her the George Jonas Freedom Award. Now, there are a lot of articles out here, so I'm going to summarize by going through a few here. Here's an editorial from the Toronto Sun. The courts shouldn't be the thought police. Whatever your thoughts on the Freedom Convoy. The recent conduct from the prosecution in the Tamara Lich case should be alarming to all Canadians. Lich is the original organizer for the convoy that took root in Ottawa in the past winter and is currently facing charges of mischief and counseling others to commit mischief, plus obstructing police and intimidation. She initially spent 18 days behind bars before being granted bail, a longer time than many people who are charged with murder face. Interesting that, right? So last week, Lich went back to court to review the conditions of her bail. She was seeking to have an amendment to her terms to allow her to visit Ontario. She's in Alberta at the moment. Also, to use social media. The prosecution instead tried to argue that she should be thrown back in jail. They claim that because she was hoping to accept the George Jonas Freedom Award from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms in June, that she was therefore violating one of her bail conditions to not support anything convoy related. Well, this is that convoy related? And that was the real question there. There is no convoy to support at this point. So that was the argument from Tamara Lich's side. If you're thinking it's a little odd to throw someone in jail for merely planning to accept an award, you wouldn't be alone. Justice Kevin Phillips, the judge presiding over the hearing, felt the same. Here's where things got worse. Justice Phillips made comments along the lines of the prosecutor, Assistant Crown Attorney Moise Karimji, became rude with the judge and argued that the judge should step aside. Ultimately, Karimji failed to convince Judge Phillips that Lich should be jailed again. Instead, Justice Phillips eased the bail conditions to allow Lich to visit Ontario, but has upheld the social media ban, which, yeah, a lot of people disagree with, including myself. The judge then reminded Karimji that the court is not in the business of controlling political views and shouldn't be acting as the thought police. Wow, some bold words. While many Canadians are strongly opposed to what Lich did, any punishment she receives must be proportionate to the crimes she's alleged to have committed. Quote, for someone with no criminal record, not accused of committing a violent crime, Lich would be unlikely to receive much more than a sentence of 18 days were she found guilty. Lorne Gunter wrote in a recent Sun column that the judge had to warn against thought police behavior is deeply worrisome. It's really interesting that Lich is having to go through all of this when, if she was to have a speedy trial, it's likely that she wouldn't spend more than 18 days behind bars regardless. And once that time is served, she could go back to her normal life of having the ability to use social media and communicate with people. This is really, really interesting. So True North pulled this up in their article about this. Mackenzie Gray was covering the what was going on in the court. Judge Phillips wrapped up his ruling, and Tamara Lich isn't going back to jail. She wanted her social media ban dropped, but the judge didn't agree to that, but he is allowing Lich to come to portions of Ottawa. These are her bail conditions as they now stand. Tamara Lich bail conditions: keep the peace and be of good behavior. Okay. Stay at home in Alberta. Can't contact with a number of the convoy organizers. Can't log on social media. Surety has reasonable access to devices, so like your cell phone, computer, or that kind of thing. Can't allow anyone else to post on social media for you or indicate your approval for future protest. Can't organize or aid in the organizing and protest. Can't attend the area of City of Ottawa as outlined by the judge. And we have here, here is a Microsoft Paint rendering of where Miss Lich is not allowed to go when she is in Ottawa. The article reads further to say Judge Phillips altered her bail conditions and ruled Lich will be able to visit Ottawa as her daughter is attending a post-secondary school in the nation's capital. But Lich will be unable to set foot downtown. Lich was jailed after being arrested for the... Yeah, okay. So that's the bail conditions as they stand here. Now, Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms also has a great article, which I'll leave... As always, I leave all of the links to the articles in the description down below. So if you're not used to doing that, look down in the description and you'll see all the links to all the articles that I always that I talk about in these videos. So you can check that out here. Western Standard had an article that they wrote. Here's a quote from it by the unacceptable Marie. Put it on social media here. The crime Lich committed was embarrassing the government. The state vendetta against her today is based on nothing but spite. She isn't a crazed, screaming extremist with a criminal history. She's a mother who felt she needed to peacefully stand up. And that's what protest is. And that's what protest is all about. Now, we had Justin Trudeau the other day saying that there's the rise of right-wing extremism. This is the face of this right-wing extremism? Is that what we're referring to? This is a mother who got in a truck and drove to Ottawa and protested against government overreach. That's where we are today, folks. Corey Morgan took to social media to say if the government of Canada pursued the eco-terrorists who attacked a work camp in BC last February with half the zeal they applied to Tamara Lich's mischief charge, I bet they would have made some arrests by now. If you're not familiar, there was a terrorist attack during the time of the Freedom Convoy at a pipeline, I believe it was, site where they were doing construction. They came out with axes and attacked people. There was millions of dollars worth of damage at that time. And this is what Corey Morgan is referring to. Crown prosecutors tried to revoke Tamara Lich's bail, and the judge ended up relaxing some of her bail conditions. So a little bit of justice. But still the case that lawfare is being committed here, where it's the act of going through the system, not the actual punishment for the crime that is the punishment. It's the legal warfare that's going on, because the crime, as we heard earlier, if convicted, she probably wouldn't spend more than 18 days. Now, there is a chance she may not be convicted of the crime of mischief and committing and consulting to commit mischief. So that is a thing. Of course, CBC News and CTV News grumbling over the results of this, having their bias show in their reporting, saying, "Oh no, we didn't get our way in this case." But yeah, I wanted to bring this news to you guys. So as it stands, Tamara Lich is able to go to accept the awards. I think there's 3 different dinners they're going to be having over this. I know the one in Vancouver is going to be happening on the 13th. I think the other ones are prior, the end of June. So 13th of July, end of June for Toronto. And then there's one in Alberta. I can't remember the exact dates, but they will be happening, and Tamara will be allowed to attend as per the judge's ruling in this case. So if you guys have anything else to add, leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Love seeing the conversations that happen down there. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button on your way out. And we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.